What up, guys? So recently on YouTube, I got a comment that said BJJ belts are pointless and made up. And I've gotten several comments that have sort of echoed that same idea that belts are just made up, they're just stupid, that sort of thing. And I've been asked before about my philosophy on belts, and so I wanted to touch on this subject a little bit because belts, I think for many of us, are meaningful to some degree, right? Because the belt is a symbol. And humans, we live in the world of symbols. And so a quote, whenever I talk about belts, I always sort of bring out this quote. It comes from Napoleon, where he says, "A soldier will fight long and hard for a bit of colored ribbon," meaning like a medal or something. And I remember reading a cavalry officer's journal that was published, and there was a point where, the French army's coming through and they just beat a particular army, and it was by this lake that was frozen, and this guy's drowning from the opposing side, and Napoleon says, "Hey, whoever gets out there and saves this guy, I'll give you guys a particular reward and a medal," right? And he said everybody's just stripping down their clothes to go out there and save this guy because they want to show off and they want to win the medal, they want to win the reward. And so I think it's worthwhile when you talk about belts and things like that in jiu-jitsu, to be honest, right? Because we can say, yeah, they're just made up by humans. Of course they are. But like everything that you do in life is made up by humans, right? Because we live in the world of symbols. So for instance, I have green paper in my pocket right now. It's called money. You may have seen it if you live in the United States, greenbacks, right? And I can take that green money and I can give it to someone, and they will then exchange real food with me, or do services for me, right? They'll, clean my house, or, do something to fix my car, whatever it is that I need them to do. But if I was to go back 500 years ago and say, hey, here, I've got this green paper called money, the people would look at you and go, what the hell is that? Because they use a different symbol for money at that point. But at the same time, I could go back, in time at any point with a load of food, and people would understand, hey, you got real food. That's real food. I have property lines in my home. Those property lines aren't real. I remember reading about how the Native Americans did not understand, like, hey, you own the dirt? How do you own the dirt? It's going to be there before you. Or it was there before you, it's going to be there after you. But I have these property lines, and this says, hey, this is mine, and this is yours, and I don't mind that story. It's a good story. This is why you'll have people where, military men and women get really pissed off if you rock out a medal or a rank that you did not earn. Because sure, it's just some rank some guy made up. It's a medal that they decided to give away, but it symbolizes the action that a real human took, right? And it means something to those people, right? So I think when we talk about the belts not being meaningful, being made up and so forth and so on, sure, you're right. And there are people that get way too obsessed with the belts. I agree with that 100%. Because some people, they just get really too attached to it and whatever else. The belts, again, my philosophy with it, they're simply they're sort of a mile marker that as you're going, you have the destination you're going, you're just traveling down the road, and every now and then you go, oh, hey, we just passed that exit. Oh, I just got my blue belt. I just got my purple belt. It's something to notice, and it's helpful for competing's sake, so we can divide people up, at least to some degree. I agree you could do that by years of experience too, but it's helpful to some degree. You don't want to be just, hey, we have like one rank that you can compete at, right? And of course, we could break that up in different ways, but it can be useful for that. But nonetheless, that's it, right? And again, I have a full philosophy for the different belts, from white to blue to purple and brown and black, each one. And some gyms have different ones. But nonetheless, I think there is a quality of being meaningful that exists with the belts for most people. And again, because it's a symbol, and that symbol represents the time they've put in, the work they've put in, so forth and so on. So anyways, that is my idea to you guys. Just chatting with you today. Hope you're doing well. Talk to you next time.